Okay, we're almost to the end of the series here. We're working on cameras now, which is second to last year. So to add a camera, go to your generic browser up here, actor classes, and it's camera actor towards the top here. It's all in alphabetical order. So then we just right click, add camera actor, and it's that simple to get a camera in. Now, let's bring it up here. Remember, of course, your transform tool, which basically is a fancy way of saying movement. If you don't have the right one, of course, you can always press space. You get different things here, like rotation, scale, which I don't want to scale the camera, and then, of course, movement for the actual camera. Now, let's go back into Kismet here, and let's make a new matinee track. Let's exit out of there. New camera group, because they have their own group here. So let's call this cam 1. Okay, so this is our first camera. It has a movement track already, so remember how to do that. See, so it's going to automatically go between the two now, just by doing that. By pressing, remember it's the enter key, so I just deleted that one. Press enter to make a new frame, or a new keyframe. Now it's going to do that. Now, what the problem is though, you gotta line it up with these pinkish purplish lines here, and that's kind of a hassle to try to imagine what that's going to look like. So you can press this little camera key, and that's exactly what your camera sees. Okay, so I'm going to deselect that, and I'm going to attempt to make a problem here so I can show you why something else is good that I warned you about earlier in a different tutorial. Okay, so you ready for this? And I have it actually set to linear right now, so it might not actually work as good as I want it to for the problem. No, it didn't work. Okay, hold on a second. Let me get my problem making hat on for a second. And there's some random keyframes. Now, I'm just going to move it around to essentially random places, and I set my curve to auto. Remember earlier I put it, and it's still not having the problem. Dang it. Now, of course, as usual, I look the fool. And curve auto, oh, you know what though? I think I know why. I'm going to add another keyframe on top of that, then delete the original keyframe. Now it's all... Okay, there we go. So, here's my nice round camera track then, movement track. So you can see now, there's my camera movement. So, I'm going to say, okay, now we want it to go all the way over there. Now we're going to have another one here. And it's going to move way over here and turn it to look like that. Now, of course, I just cannot seem to replicate the problem that I'm trying to replicate, which makes it so you need to use quiet interpolation. I really don't know, in all honesty, what I do wrong sometimes to make it so that I need it, but every once in a while, especially when I have curve auto, it basically makes it so that my camera spins a ton when it really shouldn't. So, like I said, I don't know why, but sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And so when it does, though, you need to turn this on. But the problem with that, though, is that then when you turn it on, then it messes up all your other curves from earlier, not just whatever you're working on at the time. So that's, even more problematic. And I forgot to turn off my fans again, so hold on a second. Okay, so that's even more problematic because you turn it on, and then all of a sudden all your other curves are messed up. So you want to, in my opinion at least, you might as well just do it at the beginning. Now, of course, you can always, you can try it with it off, see how it works, see what you think of it. And there's really not a whole ton to it, really. So don't worry about it too much unless you have problems with it. Then just keep it in the back of your mind. Oh, yeah, you know what, that one random guy on, YouTube or someplace told me about that one time. And it was, sounded like it was a pretty gnarly problem. So, you know what, I should have remembered it, blah, 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 etc., etc. And for some reason it's not. Okay, so select camera. I want to make a separate camera now. Jeez, and it's really not wanting me to. Hold on a second. Okay, so camera actor. I'll go ahead and just and there it is now. So I don't know what was up with that just now, but and another thing I wanted to show you is when you're not in matinee, if you click this little lock selected actors to camera button and then select your camera, this is what your camera is seeing right now. So you can rotate it to wherever you want, because exactly what you're seeing in your viewport, that's what your camera is seeing. And then when you get it to where you want it, make sure you unselect that, then look at that, there's my camera, right? So that's a great tool, and it comes in pretty handy. Just remember though that you don't need to do it when you're in Matinee, because you can just select your little camera button. So with this camera selected, let's go make a second camera group, and this is why I called the other one Cam 1, so I could call this one Cam 2. Now, like I said, you know what, some people don't have problems, sometimes I don't have problems, but right now I'm going to go ahead and turn this on just, you know, because. And then what I'm going to do is say, okay, well, when this one gets to this point, now is when I want him to start moving, and I'll just, you know, move it along like this. Now remember, even though this isn't the one you're looking at, remember, as long as you have those two keyframes there, then even though you don't want to be looking through this camera then, this other camera that we just moved here is still going to be moving that whole time. So if you really wanted to just move it the one time, just select your key that you already have there, press enter again, and then while you have it there, I forgot to tell you this before, I should have told you this a long time ago, to move a keyframe, you click it, press control, and then just drag someplace without touching it while you're clicking the second time. Now watch what happens though to my camera. And I forgot that it's gonna look really messed up because I used curve auto. So it would have worked if I used curve linear, I'm sorry. Okay, so look, this is the problem with curve auto again. They always want it to be a nice smooth looking curve, and I'm looking for a good viewport to see it from, but you really can't. So they always make it a nice curve, they don't like any points. So look at this, I told it to be here at this time, then be at the same place at this time, right? So you look at these two different keyframes, they're the exact same place, but because it knows that it's going to have to turn, look at this, now it's going to go, whoa, way out there, and then way, way, way over there, and then all the way, you know, which this one is where I told it to be. The difference though is, look at that. It's not supposed to be moving at all right now, but look what it's doing. So that's another time when you would want to use the curve editor here. So view, toggle curve editor, and then just for the sake of ease, I'm going to just go ahead and select all of them, even though usually you won't be doing that. So I'm going to flatten all tangents. Remember, that's the flatten tangents to axis button. Okay, and now I'm going to zoom way back in because it was kind of messy back there. Now, look at this. It's still going to move, but it's not quite so absurd. You know, it's not quite so extreme. Now, just so I can prove a point here that I'm not quite so stupid as I probably sound right now, after all those mistakes, I'm going to add another camera actor here, a third one, and I'm just going to bring it up someplace. It doesn't really matter too much. It's just for this tutorial where it's going to be. Add a new camera group, Cam 3, and again, just because I like it. Now I'm going to set the curve to linear, and I'm going to add another curve on top of that, delete the old one, so now my first curve is the linear green curve. Now I'm going to say, at this point in time, I want you to be the exact same place. I didn't add any movement there, right? And then at this point in time, I want you to be in a completely different place, right? So now, you remember how this camera, when I said, okay, be in this place, then be in the same place, see how it moved all that distance there? If you're looking through this camera and you do the same thing, it says, hey, I'm going to stay in the same place because it's linear. And then as soon as it gets to that point, boom, now it's going to start moving all of a sudden, and it's just going to be perfectly linear. That now if you go and look at this curve, and I know it's going to be kind of hard to see because it's such a huge curve, really, but you can see it's, you know, they have these nice swooping curves. They look pretty nice, they really do. Now if you go and look at this curve though, it's still, you know, it's still a curve, but it doesn't curve, if you know what I mean. It's just a perfectly straight linear line, and there's nothing really, nothing more to it. So I'm going to get back out of that.